Welcome to the fourth and final presentation on a series of presentations on the Opium Wars. My name is Sean Han. I'm in class 8B of Huitong School, and today I will be talking about the signing of the treaties. Mainly, I will be focusing on 4 points: diplomats, Chinese refusal, Western retaliation, and the Beijing Convention. In June of 1858, sometime in 1858, the British went ahead and ceded themselves, or technically took themselves out of China. And after that was done, they went ahead and left this, the Treaty of Tianjin. And the Treaty of Tianjin basically went ahead and had some really harsh terms on the Chinese. The Chinese decided that they wouldn't want to go ahead and comply with these terms, and so the British and the French went ahead and sent some diplomats en route from Guangzhou to Beijing. The Chinese were against this plan, and so they offered an alternate route to Beijing, which the British were against, and so the British wanted to go ahead and keep going in the direction that they originally planned. Nonetheless, when they reached the Dago forts, which they refused to pass, the British and the French, they suffered heavy casualties. And this was all in 1859. And then, in 1860, the British were back. In August of 1860, the British went ahead, along with the French, destroyed the Dagu batteries, which made the battlefield look more or less a British victory. And so, the British were able to go use their path that they wanted. In October of 1860, the British and the French captured Beijing and started to put on fire. In fact, then they also went ahead and burned the Emperor's Summer Palace, also known as the Yuanming Garden. And so the Yuanming Garden was in flames, Beijing was in chaos, and the Chinese realized that, okay, we might actually need to sign this if we still want to be able to have some things towards us. And so later that year, the Chinese signed the Beijing Convention, where it basically meant they would do these two things. Number one, they would observe the treaties of Tianjin. Number two, they would cede the southern part of the Kowloon Peninsula towards the British, which was adjacent to Hong Kong, which is right here where I've written Hong Kong. So they had to give out this area to the British. And of course, in the end, China actually lost horribly. And to this day, the Opium Wars are used as a starting point, as a comparison to how far China has gone ahead in the future, how far they have got ahead, modernized. Here are the key points you can get from this presentation. The British withdrew from Tianjin in 1858. They sent diplomats, along with French diplomats, to Beijing in June of 1859. They were refused to pass down the Dagu forts, and then they were given different routes to go to Beijing. They eventually had heavy casualties, and they were driven back, and so they were refused to ratify. The Chinese refused to ratify the treaties. In August of 1860, the British retaliated with larger fleets and the destruction of Dagu batteries, as well as in October of 1860, Beijing was plundered and the burning of the Yuanming Garden came ahead. And eventually, the observation of the treaties of Tianjin and the ceding of the southern Kowloon Peninsula was basically observed by the Chinese. Thank you for watching my presentation. I will see you in my next presentation.